from Create with Scrimping Mummy. So today we're on with the second part of the tutorial for the Asian Splendour journal. So the first part showed you how to make the signatures, bind them with the 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and how to bind them to each other, because we're going to have a removable journal block in this cover. Okay, it's just a fun feature. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to strengthen the back of our journal block. Okay, so what I've done here, I have cut 2 pieces of cardstock. Okay, I've printed them with one of the pages, but you don't have to, you can just use plain. So I've got 2 pieces here, okay, and they are going to sandwich this back page. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to glue that onto the back page. Okay, so I've inked them all first. I'm going to make sure my page is inked so that if anything does protrude, it's no big deal, doesn't matter. Okay, all right, let me just get that bit done. Sure it's all inked so that if we see any of it, we've not got ugly white edges. Not that it matters, really. Nothing matters, it's only paper. We're not saving lives. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on here. Okay. And on the back. Alright, or however you want to do it. So I'm going to take these apart. I'm going to attach the first one, and I'm going to go as close to the binding as I can and line it up to the page. It might not have been a good idea to put glue on the back already, but never mind. Okay, yeah, and then I'm going to put some more glue. I'll make sure I'm in shot. More glue on that back page up to the spine, but not right up to it because you don't want it to seep. Okay, and then I'm going to put it on this bit here as well. On this, I printed mine double-sided, you don't need to. Okay, then I'm going to get my second piece, which I didn't print double-sided. I'm just going to make sure it's all nicely inked. Not that you're going to see it, but the devil's in the detail, as they say. I just like to do things right, or to the best of my ability. Let's say not everything I do is necessarily the right way. So I'm going to line this up first of all with the previous piece of cardstock, corner to corner. Okay, because it's quite important that they meet up and top to bottom. Okay, then I'm going to press it. Okay, doesn't matter if it's not completely flush up to the spine. You just want to have a jiggle about and you want to just get it straight. But the most important thing is that it lines up with the other piece of cardstock. So you've got basically an add-on of a cover. Okay. Okay. Then we're going to leave that to dry. Okay, I'd leave it as long as you can. Okay. Make sure there's no glue peeking out. Make sure it opens and closes freely, so you avoid it sticking by not going too close to the spine. Make sure there's no glue seeping, and we're going to leave that to one side to dry. Just going to go over it with my bone folder actually to make sure that glue spreads. So I'm just going to lift my signatures up and I'm just going to burnish it to make sure that that glue's spread out, so I've not got lumps and bumps. Okay, although you wouldn't see it through the cardstock, but it makes sure that that's all down perfect. And as you can see, by not going too close to the spine, I can still open it all out kind of flat. Okay, it's not protruding too far past there, and it's not protruding top and bottom. I'm going to leave that to dry, so we're going to get on with the cover. So decide which is your inside and which is your outside. This is my inside, and my outside is always the neatest. Now I've bound my chipboard. It's just any old lightweight chipboard. You can use cereal boxes, anything. And I've bound mine with fabric tape. Now I do have a tutorial showing you how to use fabric tape. You can supplement fabric tape for cardstock strips and do it that way. or you can just wrap it, the complete thing, with a full sheet of black cardstock. I also have a video on that, okay? I will leave links for those 2 videos in the description box below. All right, we're not doing it here, I've already done it. Right, so the first thing we need to do is on the back cover, so decide which is your front and which is your back, we need a strip to hook our journal pages onto. So you need a piece that measures 9 3/8 in length by 2 inches wide, okay? If you've done your covers the same size as me. All right, my covers measure 8.5 by 6. Okay, so that's what these pieces of chipboard measure. I've done my spine to, what have I done my spine to? 1.5. So 6 by 8.5 and a 1.5 inch spine. That's the same size as that. If you're a letter size user, you might want to adjust that slightly, okay? But your spine wants to be 1.5 inches for this particular one. Obviously, you can make your spine bigger if you want, but it's not necessary. So then on your 9 3/8 by 2 inches piece, you're going to put it in your scoreboard with the 9 3/8 of an inch pointing upwards, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Then turn it around and score at 1/2 inch. Fold it, okay, and we're going to glue this to the back cover, okay. Now you want plenty on, but you don't want it seeping, especially if you've used the fabric tape like me, because it can be unsightly, okay. Make sure you haven't got any in the middle, and put it kind of in the middle, okay. Don't worry, you don't need to measure it, just eyeball it in the middle, and this wants to go flush top and bottom, okay. It's measured the exact height of your cover. So flush top and bottom, and try your best to get it straight, because if you don't get this straight, then when you slide in your journal block, that won't be straight, okay. It might be better actually having it slightly more to this side so that it's easier for you to slide your journal block in and out, rather than having it, you know, it slap bang in the middle, okay. You're not going to see it, so it doesn't matter. Just make sure it's fairly straight, okay. And then you would slip your decorative paper underneath to decorate it. And I don't do matting videos because it's so basic. All you would do is get your piece of paper, you measure your size, and you cut it 1/4 inch shorter on that side and 1/4 inch shorter on that side, which leaves you a 1/8 inch border all the way around. Okay, it's really simple, and it's the same process for everything. Okay, so you cut your paper and then you'd slide it under and glue it down. Okay, so then when that's dry, this will slide in there. I'm not doing it yet because it's still wet, okay. I'm just going to clip that a minute and leave that to dry. Okay, so for the cover, for this bit, so you could just slip it in, decorate that page and leave it as it is. If you want a bit of a neater look, we can make this cover, which you can then decorate, okay. So this measures 8 1/8 inch, which will just make sure it's covering these. Now again, I use A4, okay. If you're using letter size, you might need to adjust your sizes, okay. And it wants to be 8 inches long. So how I've sized it, let me just tell you in case you need to resize. So I've done it the same height as the pages, okay. And the cover I've done, so my pages are 8 and the cover is 8.5. So my cover I've made 1/2 inch taller than my pages. So if you're not using A4, okay, so then you've got 1/4 inch each side. All right, so this is the same height as this, so it's going to be, it's not going to show, you're going to have that gap, okay. The spine, all right, I have made as large as I can, okay. It measures, the spine measures 1 1/8, and then you've got a 1 inch strip to attach it to the back. Now, when you're making this spine, you might think, well, you know, maybe I should do it a bit thicker for when the journal grows. Just bear in mind, you've only got 1.5 inches on the spine here. And then we're going to add something here that's going to take up room. Okay? So just bear it in mind. If you want this section to be wider, okay, if you're going to over embellish your journal and you want this section to be wider, you'll need to increase the size of your spine slightly. Okay, so all we're going to do here is we're going to glue this, so we're 8 1/8 by 8, and then we've scored at 1 inch and 2 1/4 inches. Okay, on the inside here, we're going to quite simply glue this strip. I'm not going right up to the score line. I'm staying away from it because the glue will spread. Okay. And I am gluing that to that back page. Okay. So let me just move my cover out of the way. So I'm putting my journal block into there. And I'm going to glue on that strip. Okay. Turn it around like so, and then press. So the reason why I did it with it closed like that is to make sure that you have got leaving room for this, so it doesn't want to be right up against the score line, if you get my drift. So when you're gluing it on, do it like that first, like it's wrapped around, so you're getting a true representation. Okay, and then when it starts to get tacky, then fold it flat and press to make sure you've got a good stick. Okay. Alright, now this bit will just be a simple cover and it will lay open flat. We're not attaching this part to this part. And the reason being, because I've done it easy for you. We've done the easy binding, so you don't have to stress about getting everything lined up perfect. We'll do that another time, and I'll do a tutorial on that and help you do that if you're just starting out new and you're progressing with your journaling. If you're old school, do what you want. And then you can open like so, and you've got lots of room then for your journal pages. Okay, now this part here, I'm not decided yet whether I'm going to cut a window or whether I'm just going to decorate it. I haven't decided. I would like to round the corners, however, I'm not going to, because I've not rounded the corners on my journal pages. Okay, I'd prefer to round them because they can get a little bit beat up when they're square. But I've not done it on my journal pages, so if I round this, these will show through. Okay, so then now all of this is all done, and hopefully this is dry by now. Okay, I'm just going to slip my ruler through and make sure I've not glued it down, and this will now slip in here. Okay, like so. You've got a little bit of maneuver for, you know, room for maneuver there, but it's fine, and it will sit like so. Okay, and it will be just perfect. All right, now we've left room in the spine there for the next component that we're going to put in here. So to make my life easier, I'm just going to remove this. Okay, so on the inside here, we're going to do a gusseted pocket. So basically it will open slightly wider than just a flat pocket. So you could slip quite a, you know, make a deep notebook or a few, you know, quite a few pages of a notebook and put that in, or fill it packed with things, rather than just, you know, this kind of a pocket where it's quite close. So to make this, you need a piece that measures 7 7/8 of an inch by 7 inches. Okay, and you're going to put it in your scoreboard. I've already done mine to save time. You're going to score at 1/2 inch, then that will be 3/4, and then that will be 1, I think. Let me just double check. So you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch. Again, if you've done your journal covers at a different width, then you might need to extend the size, but the size of this will be the same. So again, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch. That's giving you 1/2 inch to glue it, and then 1/4 inch on 2 gussets, okay, which will fold up. Then just turn the entire piece round and do the same, 1/2 inch, 3/4 and 1. Then turn it on the bottom, so you're always scoring on the longest measurement, which is the 7 7/8, okay. Then turn it onto the 7-inch side and do the same, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1, and you've got this, okay. And then you want to fold down, the next one folds up, and the next one folds down, okay. So mountain, valley, mountain, okay, and the same on all of them, mountain, valley, mountain. So then when it folds down, you've got this, like an M or a W, okay. So your fold is going inwards, not outwards, okay. So then what you want to do is you're going to need to cut some of this away. So we're going to, where the side and the bottom meet, you'll have a large square with 3 small rectangles, 1, 2, 3 sets of like squares and rectangles, okay. And all we're going to do is we're going to gently notch at that side of all of this mess and gently notch at that side of all of this mess, okay. Just cut it a little bit deeper. Try not to, when things don't cut fully, try not to pull them away, because that's how you can either rip your cardstock or end up with little fuddy bits. So you like that, okay. And then do the same at the other side. So where all this square is here with all this nonsense in, go to the far side and gently notch up to 1, 2, 3, okay. And the same at this side, just gently, okay, to start with. We may need to readjust, I'll have a look in a minute. Then fold all of these squashy bits in and have a look, okay. Now let's have a look. So we're going to just squeeze it in where it should be and give it a good crease. Squeeze it in where it should be and give it a good crease. And the same here. And this is where we're going to assess whether we need to just take a little bit more off. Okay, so let's have a look. I think I'll leave it like that. Let's have a look. So what you can do, but this is overcomplicating it for some people, you can make a tiny slit in that valley there, and then that will just slip in it and make it neater. In fact, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You don't have to, just glue it down as it is and give it a good burnish, but a neater way of doing it is on your sides where your valley is. If you just give it a little snip at each side, yeah, then this will just slot. When it's folded, it will just slot inside, okay. So there's my little slit, there's my valley on the bottom, and it will just slip inside that little slit, okay. It'll just make it sit neater on the cover, okay. Right, so when you've got all of that assessed, whether it's making any difference, because I've already trimmed it, I don't know. There we go, that's it. That's it. And let's have a look if these need trimming. I think we're going to leave it like that. So I'm going to put my little bit in there, and then I'm going to fold that one in and that one on the top. Shall I do it the other way? Right, so I've put my bottom part in my little slit in my valley there. I'm going to lift that one up and that one over, am I? Which looks neater. That looks neater. So side in, bottom up. So what I can do now, while I'm holding that so it all stays together, tiny dot of glue there, and just pin it while it glues. So again here you've got your 2 valleys. You've put a slit in the side one, so the bottom one, slip in your slit, okay, fold the side in, tiny bit of glue, Don't need a lot. And then fold the bottom up and then pin it till it dries. Okay, that just gives you a neater, it'll just sit neater. Okay, so for the top part, while this is drying, the top part, so this is going to be your closure, and I probably will end up rounding these corners. You're going to need a piece that measures 5 7/8. So it's going to be the same width as your pocket. So if you've adjusted your sizes, it's the same width as your pocket. And I've done it by 4 inches deep. Then on the 4-inch side, I've scored at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay, and that is going to make a very, very simple closure. Very simple. So what you want to do is fold and burnish all of those. Fold and burnish. Super, super important to burnish because it tells your paper where you want it to go. Okay. So I would rather have my pocket glued down before I add my flap, to be honest. And then for the front, I normally put loads of pockets on the front and this, that and the other. And I just thought we'd just have a simple cover this time because I might put some sort of closure on this. Okay, so we're just going to use the beautiful decorative paper, or whether I come up with some kind of topper, I don't know, but you'll see that in the next video. I haven't decided yet. My brain only works for so long and then I get distracted. Okay, so is that dry? It's not quite dry, but you know, time's pressing on. So I'm just going to give all of this another burnish. Could really do with that being dry before I glue it on. So I'm just going to pause my video because I really need these corners to be dry. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm happy with how that's dry now, and you can see by doing the little slits it just looks neater, and it's worth trying if you can figure it out. So now I'm going to glue my pocket down. Okay, and I'm using glue rather than tape. Because I just think you've got room to move it if it's not quite lined up right, and also I do think that glue just holds slightly better than tape. I've been trying all sorts of tape and I haven't found a good cheap tape. The Scorpal tape is absolutely out of this world, okay, but it's £8 a roll. I bought a cheaper one from a seller on eBay that I'm happy with, but I wouldn't use it on something that I was going to sell. I'll use it on samples when I'm doing folios for quickness, but I have found that when I've gone back, they are, you know, sections will come undone and I've had to go back and glue them. So I'm still not quite found a tape that I'm happy with, so I will be using glue, and I do use Collal glue. All right, I'm just going to make sure I've got a bit on the back there, spider webs. It's a solvent based glue, so I don't use PVA glue. I find it is not very strong. I find that it warps your pages, and I just don't like it. I don't use it. So glue, a solvent based glue, I use Collal because it's fairly budget friendly. You will see other journal makers using Fabri-Tac or Beacon 3-in-1. This works very similar. It's slightly thinner. It's about half, it's less than half the price of those, and it doesn't clog in the bottle. Like Fabri-Tac and Beacon 3-in-1, you'll find that when you get a certain way down the thing, you'll see journal users and they're shaking it and squeezing it and it won't come out. You don't have that problem with Collal. Okay, so now as that glue's gone tacky, I'm going to put this, and I'm going to put it nearly flush with the bottom, but not quite, but flush enough so that it's not going to look odd because it doesn't have patterned paper. And I'm going closer to the edge of the journal cover than I am to the spine. Okay, just so that you've got room when it closes. I've got a little bit of seepage there. I'm just going to get that off before it dries because I don't want it to show. Okay, and you may well just have to sit and wait for that to dry, because you've got that concertina kind of effect at the side there, so it's going to want to spring up. So you could put something heavy on it, or use your good old-fashioned clips. I like to use my clips, and I'm just going to clip. Obviously I can't clip there, but I can clip there and at the bottom to help that dry a bit faster and make sure that it's down. Okay, a little bit of seepage there, which I'm not happy about, so I'm just going to faff about and try and get that off. That's why you should never put too much glue. Apologies, my husband nipped home for some sandwiches. I think he thinks that I'm McDonald's drive-through. Cheeky monkey. Right, so, and then the top section here. As I say, I've not decided if I'm going to round the corners yet, so I'm going to leave them as they are, because I can always go in and do that afterwards. So I'm going to put some glue on this 1/2 inch strip here. Okay. I'm going to spread it out because I don't want it seeping, because I've used fabric tape. Okay, just a little bit more there. Just a little bit more. We don't want it coming off. That would just not be good. I've got glue all over my hands now. And then I'm going to actually just disengage that top gusset, so that means I'm folding it flat. Okay, and I'm going to keep my flap over the top of my pocket there. I'm just going to have to remove this because I want it lining up exactly with the edges. Okay, and then this is going to go close to the top but not right up to it. Okay, but enough so that it doesn't look odd that there isn't patterned paper there. And then because I've used glue, I've got time to move it and make sure it's lined up. And by folding it flat, it makes it easier for us to line it up. I want that lined up perfectly with this pocket here. And then press. Okay. Alright, and we've put a gusset at the top there, so that when your pocket is full, then they will match up. You've got enough room in there to allow for that gusset and for your signature. Okay, so that's why we've measured it exactly so that all of these fit nicely. So this will now slide in there, although I'm ready for decorating, and so we'll be getting on with that next. So that will slide in there like so, and just get it where I want it. Okay, and I may well do a closure, I'm not sure, but that will all fold up nicely. And if you don't overfill, I've got my clip there, if you don't overfill your journal, you'll be fine. You've still got room there for your journal pages to grow. If I push it flat, you can see you've still got room for them journal pages to grow, and you've got plenty of room excuse me, for this section. Okay, so that's how we're doing it. So in the next video, I hopefully will have done some decorating, and yeah, so we've got a lovely removable journal block there. So I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry if it was a little bit long, but you know, I like to show you everything from the needle to the thread and tell you why we're doing stuff, and that is going to be a lovely neat journal. So I'll see you next time. Have fun, take care, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye.